So, I'm on my way home, heading back to the palatial Cruz Estates after escape from Chicago. And after a frantic race, to get to the entrance ramp to the expressway first, because God help you if somebody gets there before you are, you're just like you're racing for a gold coin. What a piece of shit. So, besides that. So, here I am, just trying to get home. Got some things to do. Enjoy some 39-degree sunshine. And, here you are, stuck in rush hour traffic at, 1:44 on a Saturday afternoon. Jesus Christ, this is just... It's amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. And then now, now it's the struggle. The struggle's real to get in, to merge into oncoming traffic that's going 4 miles an hour. I'm sure that there's plenty of places in the country that got shit for traffic. I get it. I do. But, oh, Jesus. Here's something else. So every time I'm down somewhere in Chicago, I see these pathetic excuse for male human beings. You could just tell who's a man and who isn't by the way they walk. And some of these young guys, these young bucks, they sashay like some chick down a runway, modeling a new swimsuit by Versace, or whoever the hell's making one this week. Which I probably didn't get that right, but Jesus, swinging their hips and they got their hands in the air. Jeez, what the hell happened to men? What the hell happened to us? You know what? And maybe this is a problem because single moms have caused this with your sons. I don't know. I wish I knew. But there's a whole lot of young men that ain't young men. They just don't. I bet they can't find their way through a toolbox. So I've been thinking about this all day because I had to stop back, pick this up from my diesel mechanic. And we spent about an hour talking, and he's 55, I'm 53, and he was just complaining about how he can't find any decent help, as far as young people go. He says, and so we spent an hour talking about this, how pathetic these young men are, that they are just so worthless and so weak. And he said, I'm scared for the future because this is terrible. I can't. So he gave me an example. This is one of the stories he told me. He said he's got a guy working there, and he had to send him somewhere that was like 3 blocks away. Now, mind you, this guy's 22 years old. He's lived in the neighborhood his entire life. Okay? So this is nothing new. So this young kid says to him, well, give me the directions. He said, there are no directions. You go out here, you go down to that first light, you make a right. 3 blocks down, you'll see it right on the right. He says, this kid leaves, he goes left, and he gets his ass lost. He doesn't even know what's left from his right. He can't find the simple directions in the neighborhood he's been living in for 22 years. He needs a Google map to find it. It's just, these kids, these young men, they are so pathetic. I don't like them. I don't like it. I've had to deal with enough of them where I just can't stand them. They are so worthless. They are so weak. And I guess there's no other words to describe it than that. Well, granted, they know their way around a computer. Boy, oh boy. But Jesus, get some life experience. So this is my advice to you single moms out there. And I'm not trying to cut you down. I really am not. But if you got sons, man, you find some male, if you can find one at this point in time. Find a real man. Find a real man that is willing to take your kid, take your son, and show him some things about toxic masculinity. Because, boy, I'm a toxic male. Teach this kid how to use tools. Teach these kids how to have a little bit of critical thinking and a little bit of problem solving. They are so pathetic. They can't problem solve. Find some man. I don't care if it's an uncle, if it's your grandfather, if their father is a piece of shit and there's nothing you can do about it. I get it. Because there's a lot of men that are just pieces of shit. Let's be honest. I don't know why you females sleep with them, but there's never a shortage of women that sleep with shithead men. I know. I've seen that my whole life. If that's cutting you down, and I'm sorry, to you, to the credit to most of you females out there, a lot of men are really good at hiding their bullshit. That's for sure. But if you got a son, man, don't let him turn out to be one of these guys that's sashaying down the street with his hands hanging out, and he's built like a 12-year-old starving Ethiopian kid. I mean, just no reason for this. They have no musculature. They got no structure that sets them apart from looking like a male. 17 years old, some of these guys should be at their prime. They should be at their prime. No, they look like chicks. They're pathetic. Oh, they're so pathetic. I mean, you can't ask these clowns to come and help you move. As young as they are, they have no strength. They're so, I'm going to go off. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to stroke out. Because I live in a time where we got men, young males that think they're females. We got females that think they're males. And there's a whole bunch of people in between that can't decide which one they want to be on any given day. So, yeah. So this is what happens. See, I drive around all day, and I don't listen to a lot of music, and I think and I ponder things, and I see certain things, and it makes my mind wander in a different direction. And sometimes I don't really have anybody to talk about this to anymore. Everybody kind of close with, and we've all kind of moved away, and we got different things going on, so it's not always easy to talk to people about this. But holy crap, man, what the hell's going on? So, I'm looking forward to dying. Because I ain't going to have to see the bullshit mess that's coming up with these next couple generations. Because they suck. They suck. I don't know what to say about the girls. I got a couple nieces. 23, 16, 13, and a 4-year-old. And the 24-year-old is due to have a baby in May. I don't know what's going to happen with these. I worry enough for these ones. I'm doing my best to teach my nieces not to fall into the liberal bullshit that our society has been pushing on them. And I have to say I'm pretty proud of them for the most part. They're seeing behind the veil. I try to get them to think critically and to look at things and see how everything is manipulated, how so easily people are swayed to foolish, stupid bullshit. So, yeah. So that's my rant. This is my rant for today. You ladies, single moms, you got sons, don't let your son be a pussy. I mean, honestly, don't let your son be a pussy. I mean, raise him to be respectful, raise him to be kind, courteous, considerate, respectful to elders. You can do all that. You can do a lot of things as a single mom. You're going to be good at that. But there are some things you are not going to be able to teach your son. You are not going to teach them how to be a man. You're not going to be able to teach them how to problem solve like men problem solve. Because you don't think like we do. Our brains are wired differently. Oh, God help you say that in today's society. That there's physical differences between men and women. Jesus, it's the end of the world. But it's the truth. We're biologically different from you. And you got to raise your sons. They got to have a good example of a male in their life. And I honestly don't know how you're going to do that outside of somebody, outside your family. Maybe you got a good male friend that likes to fish or likes to hunt and he plays with cars and he does stuff like this. Get your son involved with a guy like that for a little while. Let him get some influence on being a man, because the future doesn't bode well. You're going to be killing, all the women are going to be killing the spiders while the boys are cowering in the corner because they're terrified of a little tiny thing this big with 8 legs. Gone are the days of them catching snakes and killing spiders and doing all that stuff and running around with BB guns because, oh shit, God, with the gun issue, we can't have that. So, man, jeez, please don't let your boys become pussies. Honest to God, what is happening? What's happening to our country? What the hell is going on? I mean, somebody's got to take responsibility. And men, you ain't exempt from this bullshit. You've been too busy sleeping around and screwing around with different chicks and not settling down with any one of them and following all kinds of children that you have no intent to taking care of and showing the ropes to because you're shitheads. Oh, you piss me off. You guys piss me off because I've seen a lot of your asses out there too. Just total jerks. But you know what? Here's the problem with that too. Women have allowed men to get away with that bullshit. Way too long. Way too long. You have allowed men to get away with that bullshit because we had this little lovely sexual revolution before I was born, and then they started all that bullshit, and now here you are, 50 years later. 50 years later, you got this stuff. You wanted equality? Well, now you got it. Now you got a bunch of men that just don't want to be responsible for their lives, don't want to be responsible for the children they bring into the world. And the one thing the men really have never changed about is they figured out how to deceive women to get what the hell they want, but they just never grow up from that. They never take the responsibility for their actions. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, but women, you have to take responsibility for that because you don't have to sleep with it. You don't have to sleep with these guys. You can tell them no. You don't have to give in to every guy that winks at you or smiles at you. What the hell's that about? Jesus, I'm too busy teaching my nieces. Stay the hell away from them. Don't believe a damn word these young guys say to you because they just want to get in your pants. There's nothing else. That's nothing else they want. I tell them, you'll be fine. You'll have enough guys scratching at your door. The older you get, it's going to be a huge pain in the ass for you. Ugh. Yeah, that's me rambling and ranting. So I'm getting finally out, a little bit out of traffic. I'm getting back where there's wildlife. There's a red-tailed hawk over here sitting on her nest. Finally, when the animals come back, when there's no people around, Jesus. Oh, Lord, we are so... Come back, Jesus, because we need you. Because, boy, oh, boy, we are messed up. We are messed up. You got to fix all this mess. We ain't fixing it ourselves because we're too jacked up and messed up and everyone forgot who you were and what you're all about. Yeah, that's right. I may not sound like a Christian sometimes, but man, oh, man. Let's get real with this stuff. We're still human beings. We still deal with stuff. And there's a right and there's a wrong. And anybody that tells you there's no moral absolutes is full of shit. They've forgotten the truth. They've forgotten the life. And they forget where it comes from. And it's maddening. And every time I got to deal with humanity on a mass basis, like if I go into, got to go into a city and I got to deal with humanity on a mass basis, I forget about that stuff. Human beings weren't meant to live like rats. We have managed to live like rats. So what do? We behave like them. Ugh. All right, man. I'm sure that's boring enough. I'm all worked up enough, and I don't want to kill anybody on my way home because I get pissed off. Till next time. Party on, man.